At 7:30, we are straight away cutting across to breaking news coming in. CBI is all set to examine one of SSR's lawyer with whom the actor had got in touch with after Disha's death is the information we are getting. SSR had dropped a text to his lawyer as his name was being linked to Disha's death. CBI has already started looking into the circumstances that led to the death of Disha Salian, and they will be looking into whether it was a case of death by suicide or homicide. Now, it is important to note that this is not a separate case, as the purpose is to find out whether the two deaths are linked or not. Till last week, CBI has recorded over 20 statements in Mumbai, Delhi and Pabna. Several statements refer to Disha's death, and forensic evidence that was shared with CBI reveals that SSR had searched about Disha Salian online. This was about 48 hours before his death. Bringing in our senior associate editor, Shravan Sen, who's joining us live on the broadcast. Shravan, break down all the details for us about SSR getting in touch with his lawyer. This connected to Disha's death, and is it true that he also was getting details that his name is being linked to it? What exactly did he communicate with his lawyer, and how is CBI looking at all of this?
Well, this is yet another start as far as this entire investigation goes, because the link between Disha Salian and Sushant Singh Rajput's death is concerned. There have been multiple testimonies that have been brought to the fore by Republic Media Network, which only goes on to indicate that this is a case which should be probed. And what we are picking up from our sources is that CBI is also to examine one of the Sushant Singh Rajput's lawyers. They're not willing to disclose the name of the lawyer to begin with. Now, this is the same lawyer with whom the actor essentially had got in touch after Disha's death. In fact, he had also dropped a text to his lawyer as his name was being linked to Disha's death. Now, important to point out here is that over the last few weeks, several statements have been recorded. In fact, we can confirm that roughly about 20 statements have been recorded. In majority of statements, and especially those who have been with Sushant Singh Rajput in his final days, they have essentially spoken about Disha Salian's death and the impact it has had on Sushant Singh Rajput's mind. And that is the reason why the CBI is essentially looking at the link that is essentially emerging. But what is significant here is the fact that the circumstances of Disha Salian's death is also going to be looked at, and that becomes extremely important in this particular case. Forensic evidence also that we're talking about, this forensic evidence that has been shared with the Central Bureau of Investigation.